Hey guys, Asher coming at you today and Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video. Send us some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there today. So in a recent guide that we had here on the channel, it was a mall guide, I believe, very recently, a couple days ago. I highlighted an all epic team and actually got a lot of requests in the comments, or a few requests at least, asking for Gear Raid Stage 1, 2, and 3, 19 all epic teams. Moreover, trying to use this as an opportunity to cover, some of the more important strategic elements of each of those gear dungeons, hopefully give you guys some inspiration even if you don't have all of these heroes. We'll certainly talk about the essential ones as we go and give some viable replacements, or at least talk about the critical roles on all these teams, right? This game out the gate, the reason I'm going to be doing this for all the gear raids is because this game is so gear intensive compared to a lot of other games in the genre. A lot of games in this genre, like the gacha, the hero collectors, they're very champion or hero dependent, right? If you don't have this champion, good luck trying to clear this content. So it's kind of a glass half full and a glass half empty. This game Watcher of Realms is not as, in my experience, hero intensive. Of course, there's amazing heroes in the game and yada, yada, yada. They're the Hatsuits and the Silases of the world, the Viernas, the Comets, and so on and so forth. However, you can actually get a lot done, including clearing gear raids, with a limited set of heroes on your account. However, the negative is this game is very gear intensive, meaning you're going to hit plateaus a lot in this game, and it's going to be frustrating even if you have really good heroes, right? Or if you don't, either way, you're going to hit these roadblocks that feel seemingly insurmountable at first glance, right, when you run into them. But I can almost always promise you, as long as you have some strategic elements down for each dungeon, some of the fundamentals, you'll be able to clear this content, but it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a slog. You're going to have to get comfortable with muling your artifacts or your gear, around. It is free in this game. That's the good news, but you shouldn't be shy. If you want to make progression in any gear raid, or anywhere for that matter in this game, you really shouldn't be shy about putting your best gear on every single hero that you're using. It really does suck, because even though it's free, it's tough to keep track of gear, right? So it's not easy per se, but it is free. It's a little time intensive, but that will pay you the best dividends in any area of the game by allocating your best gear on every single hero when you're trying to clear something for the first time. And at that point, after you clear a stage for the first time, then you can rely on Power of Dominance, and you can put on, worse gear and mule your best gear onto other focal heroes in other areas that you're trying to clear. Turn off Power of Dominance. Feel free to fast forward a minute if you don't care about the recommended heroes and the guides. But I will say that this is one of the best things about Watcher of Realms, right? They give you a lot of information to chew on about every single stage of every single dungeon. It's really, really valuable stuff here. So they give recommended and highly recommended heroes. They're pretty spot on with their recommendations here, although I will say the only area that they can improve in is actually their omissions, meaning if you have a champion on the highly recommended or recommended, generally speaking, they're actually going to be very good, right? However, just because your hero is not on the recommended or highly recommended does not mean that they're not going to be good. I would go ahead and read this little text up here on every dungeon, right? It's short, it's sweet, but it's going to tell you almost everything you need to know about the fundamentals of a dungeon. You'll be facing a large number of ground enemies with heavy armor. Be extra cautious because the Scourge will deal continuous damage to nearby units. Those are the dudes with the red kind of emanating from their bodies, right? Lord Kukaklan or whatever will also be there to heal your enemies, so be sure to bring heroes who can counter the healing or execute enemies nearby, so execution or anti-healing. I love the recommended lineup screen, guys. You can get a lot of inspiration from other players. You can see all the heroes that you're using. And what I tend to do is find somebody around your BP or your level, right? What I tend to do oftentimes is I'll look for something like the lowest level I can find that cleared the content, if nothing else, just to inspire me a little bit. Like, heck, if this dude can do it, his name is I'm a Noob.
Don't you dare call me bot. I am noob.
For God's sakes, if he can do it, then I can do it, right? So get a little bit of inspiration there, then look at their team. And then the last thing that you need to do here is click this little button. They give you so much information, it's insane, right? And a lot of players don't take advantage of it. Click this little graph button next to any of these battles, and you can glean a lot of information about how they're using. There's clues here that's laden with clues on how they're using the heroes that they're using. You can tell oftentimes who their main DPS is. Just by looking at this, I can tell where they're placing Hatsuit, where they're placing Boreas, just based on how much damage they're doing, right? They're in like the key spots, the 2 tiles closest to the center. Moreover, you can tell which heroes they're not using, right? Maybe you look at a a team and say, oh, interesting that they're using, Scorch, right? They're using Scorch, that's interesting. But then you actually look at the team and they see, oh, they're actually not really using him, right? So it would be a mistake to mule all your best gear to him only to find out he's not even being used because he's not doing any damage. But keep in mind, this is a bit anecdotal. It's puzzle pieces, but it's not all the puzzle pieces, right? So map info, this is where you can deep dive into all of the monsters that you'll be encountering. You can read a little bit about them as well. They'll tell you, any immunity skills or anything that you need to be aware of, especially about bosses. The biggest thing to look at here is what is their magic resistance, right? This will usually tell you, okay, what kind of hero am I going to bring to this battle, right? So everybody has low magic resistance except for the boss, right? So that means in 99% of the battle is against the minions, not the boss. So that means mages are going to be in high demand. Popular heroes, this is just basically, this is data based. So instead of giving you a little inspiration on recommended lineups, they're just going to tell you straight up which heroes are being used the most. Just be cognizant this also includes lords that might not be actually used in the battle, like Morrigan, for example. There we go. Not to say you can't use Morrigan, but you guys get what I'm saying. You can see what kind of drops obviously are there as well. Let's go ahead and fight and talk a little bit about the battle. Again, this is the squad that we're going to be using here. We have Iona. I want to talk briefly about the roles, and you can take a look at the stats and the gear that I have on these heroes. I don't stand by all the builds. All the gear that I'm using here on every single one of these heroes is basically hand-me-down stuff, right? It's not my best gear on anybody. Iona is going to be our main DPS. She's our main nuker, 100% crit rate, some attack crit damage. Iona is going to be a lord that we'll cycle her in and out, but she's not going to be fundamental. She's not going to be on the map the entire time. She's one of our bench spots. We have Hollow, who's one of the best rage regenerators in the game. She can also be a healer on either side of the platform. We have Aatrox. Aatrox is great to invest in. He's like a mini Cerberus. What he can do is you can rotate him in and out, right? So we'll be rotating Aatrox and Laurel and Iona in and out of the battle throughout the entire duration of the battle. We have Greed in there. Greed's going to be some extra DPS for us as well. We have Dolores. Or having an inspiration champion is crucial to this strategy. It's not mandatory, of course, if you have a bunch of legendaries that can do more damage. I mean, obviously you can get by without her. I would highly recommend Invigoration on Dolores. That way she can buff somebody with the increased attack when she's placed on the battlefield, and of course stack as much attack as humanly possible on Dolores. We have Maul, who we just did a full robust guide on. You guys can see the build. I have not changed it since that video. We have Laurel. The gear isn't really going to matter on her. We do have actually, I will say, we do have Invigoration on her, right? Which is helpful. Again, increase attack rate, or excuse me, a hero and one random ally in attack range, you have a 10% attack increase. We'll have Mari on the team for CC. I have her built very fast, 507 attack speed. And then we have Vortex as our second healer next to Hollow to cover the other side of the map. Obviously, you guys are probably familiar with the map, but most of the mobs are going to be spawning from these two and these two and these three up here. The boss is going to spawn right in the middle over here. The boss is going to be healing everybody, but you will see those portals right over here in the bottom left, and I'm blocking one in the bottom right just barely here behind the cost icon. That's where those mobs that emanate the damage, the AoE damage radiating from them, are going to spawn as well. They're going to come right around here. So right around these outer tiles. So you have to be very cognizant throughout the duration of the battle when they're spawning to make sure that we're saving, oftentimes, our healer's ultimate ability to be able to heal through those pretty crucial times where they'll be taking more damage. As always, I recommend turning on 1x speed when you're trying to clear something for the first time. So there's a few different ways to tackle this level. I want to point out first and foremost, you can use fighters right over here, right, for extra DPS. You can use a Valkyra over here to debuff the boss, etc., do damage to all the mobs, and Ardia works really well. But you can even use one tile, single tile heroes like a Wrath, like an Abomination, yada yada yada. They'll still be able to hit mobs that are in front of the wall, the other side of the wall, and they will not take damage. So you can build some fighters over here and like build on the right hand side or the left hand side. The sides aren't important. Or you can build both of the sides and kind of negate the middle, or you can do a little bit of both, right? We also have two Laurel strategies that we can use here. Laurel strategy number one is getting more damage out of our nukers and leaving one spot open in the right hand side. Just make sure that usually the Dolores spot is right over here. You can use Laurel like right over here, or you can use Laurel to amp up or ramp up the CC effect of Mari on the other side. You're getting a little bit less bang for your buck. I think Laurel's probably better utilized on the right hand side, but with this team, since we already have Maul, Greed, and Iona and Dolores and Hollow, there's no room on the right, so we're gonna run her on the left hand side. But you could probably argue that we could get rid of Greed entirely and use Laurel on the right here. So anyway, guys, let's do this. Laurel, I will say, is not imperative to this particular strategy. We could still pull it off without cycling her in and out. So we're gonna start out by putting down our DPS, which is gonna be Iona. This is the best DPS spot on the map. This is where you put a Vierna or a Comet if you had them as well, Boreas, whatever. And then we'll put down our Dolores so that Iona gets that invigoration. You can see that little icon right there below Starfall? That's going to be the buff icon, attack plus 10%. So Iona's going to benefit from that throughout the entire duration of the battle, which is great. Next, we're going to put down our second DPS. In this case, that's going to be Greed. Greed's nice because his ultimate is on auto, so we don't have to worry about that, timing that. We'll slow things down. Actually, we'll speed things up a little bit until we get 17 costs so we can play Maul. So now Maul is up. Maul's great because he has this awesome extended range. We could have actually played Maul at the top there, so my bad on that, but it's okay. It will be okay. What we can do is immediately pop Dolores and our nuker in Iona, and they'll take care of all those first mobs. At this point, we have a decision to make. We can basically place our healer on the right-hand side, or we can switch sides and start building on the left platform. We're gonna need our healer pretty soon anyway, so I just play her next at this point in the battle. That's gonna be Hollow right over here. She's also gonna help for rage regen. It doesn't matter if we face her this way or face her this way, but it would matter if we did have some fighters in the middle, even though we're not utilizing, excuse me, that strategy in today's video. So you can see that Iona did a hell of a job all by herself, essentially, a little help from Greed, on the right-hand side. So we can go ahead and start building on the left. These are these dudes that emanate that damage. You have to be very careful. See, Dolores is already getting damaged over here on the right. Luckily, we're fine with the healing. A little bit late on Vortex here. I'm just gonna start out with Vortex because he is he's gonna have to heal. Mari would die if we didn't play Vortex to be able to heal him. So we'll go ahead and play Mari right now. And then we basically have everything established here, right? We're gonna go ahead and pop Maul, and I am gonna pop Hollow. We're gonna activate Dolores. We're gonna play Aatrox. So a lot just went on there. I'll break it down in a second. And we're gonna immediately activate Iona again here. Yes. When in doubt, like, this is kind of one of those weird moments in the battle where you're like, whoa, all these mobs up here are getting ready to come, but I have to take care of these mobs too. Should I save her ultimate? Should I save Iona's ultimate for these dudes? Should I use them against these dudes, right? I think when in doubt, you go for, unless they're almost dead, like literally, which these guys aren't, I think you go for the damage immediately. That's my assertion at least. So everything's looking great right now. At this point, we just lost Aatrox. We played him right in the middle there, which is fine. Mari's ultimate is up, so we're gonna freeze right away. We don't wanna take a lot of wall damage here. It looks like we're doing great so far, which is fantastic. That wall damage really does add up. So we're gonna place Laurel right now, and then we're immediately gonna remove Laurel, right? So we're immediately removing her, and you're gonna see Mari's ultimate is gonna go to, like, you know, 65% or whatever, right? Now we can play Aatrox again. We'll play him on the right-hand side so we can help out a little bit against this next wave of mobs. We don't need to use Vortex, so let's not use him. We wanna save him up for when we really need him, but we will go ahead and freeze here with Maul's ultimate, and then we'll play Iona. So as you guys can already see here, I mean, you're seeing what we're doing here, right? We are cycling 3 heroes, essentially, throughout the duration of this battle. We get back to Mari's ultimate so fast because of Laurel, excuse me. Now we'll pause again. We don't need the heals. We don't need to use Vortex's ultimate. We're at 19 out of 59. We have Dolores available. Iona's at 62, but Hall's at 89. She has great rage regen. So let's go ahead. There's quite a lot of mobs still on the battlefield. Let's go ahead and pop Dolores. Wait till these dudes come through. Hollow, Maul, Iona. Boom, boom, boom. Let's pause for a second. It's good to pause sometimes. Just take inventory, right? I'm methodically going through this very slowly just to, you know, walk you through the thought process, right? Especially good for new players, hopefully. At this point, what do we have going on here? Well, I'm blocking it, but you can see that Aatrox is now available to be used again, and we want to use him by golly. So we're going to take Iona out, excuse me, Aeon out. I keep calling her Iona. I forgive me, guys. Aeon out, Aatrox in. Going to go ahead and pop. We have Hollow healing on the right. We have Vortex shielding, healing on the left. So everybody is nice and healthy for these, you know, dangerous mobs that wipe your team. We're going to go ahead and use the freeze right away. Look at how protected our wall is right now, guys. It's great, right? Now, in this situation, I'm going to use Maul. We probably don't have to, but I'm going to, because what I want to do is set up for this next big wave coming my way. So I want to go ahead and use Laurel, Dolores, Iona, Laurel, but we're going to remove her. Mari, as soon as Mari's done with her ultimate, boom. Laurel's going to be out. Aatrox going to be in. Going to use all of our ultimates to make sure we heal everybody up, especially as you get to stage 20 and 21. These heals become more crucial, so even if you don't need them, it's good to get in the habit right away. We just lost Aatrox, which is great. We're going to sub in Aeon again. Now we have debuffs. Now we have control. You do have to be careful with Aeon's ultimate, because sometimes she can pull everybody into her little vortex so much that you push them out of range of some of our DPS, right? Which is not ideal. So sometimes I don't even use it, right? Everything's looking great so far. Our wall is super healthy. We have Dolores popped a little bit early, but it's okay. We have Hollow almost ready for the rage regen. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to pop it right now. We have Mari ready again. You know what that means? As soon as this ultimate is done, Maul before Dolores ends, we're going to pull Aeon, Aatrox. We're definitely going to make sure we put him on the left-hand side. Going to pop Hollow again. We now have Laurel available. Now, at this point in the battle, all of the dudes who do damage to us are... I should have done Dolores first there, but it's okay. All the guys who do damage to us are dead. So we can take Vortex out, and we can start doing more DPS, more focus on DPS here, right? And you can see the wall... You know, we needed everything that we got there, right? A lot of good CC here. I'm popping all these abilities as soon as they're available at this point in the battle. It is all out nuke time, right? Again, remember, pull your healers at the very end. As soon as those dudes who do all the damage are dead, you don't need the healers anymore. It's better to just take advantage of the DPS. So again, we'll put Laurel in if we needed to. We could run Laurel on the right-hand side, get rid of Hollow or Greed or whatever, and get more damage out of Iona. But again, the wall isn't looking too good, but luckily it's only the boss left. So vis-a-vis a little bit of control, we can use Hollow right now. And as soon as Hollow is done, what we're going to do is, she's done right now. We're going to go ahead and put this. We're actually going to play with fire here, pull Greed out instead. Put Hollow in, take Hollow out, try to get another ultimate right away from, or ASAP from Iona, who is our #1 DPS. We're going to keep freezing everything through, and everything's looking great. Dolores is available. She's good to go. And there it is, guys. There it is. Iona, I would say, is pretty fundamental to this run, unless you have a legendary who's better, right? She's going to be your main DPS. Having a debuff for a freeze champion. Everybody has Mari. You saw how useful she is. And then everybody else, I would say, is, except for Dolores probably, maybe Hollow, is kind of replaceable, you know, just DPS control. And that's basically the name of the battle, guys. So here's the ending stats. As predicted, Iona gets a ton of damage, almost double the damage as Maul. And then Greed comes in at 26 million as well. Aatrox comes in at 15 million. And then you see kind of our debuffers, our control, and of course our healers, right? I mean, look at all those heals from Hollow. She really is incredible. Plus all that rage regen that's tough you don't see that in the box score, so to speak. So guys, I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video, and subscribe for the rest of the gear dungeons. All epic teams for stage 19. No Power of Dominance coming at you guys very soon. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.